to me last time I was over your way.
I wanted to surprise you.
Uh-huh. There it is. All right. Patrick, good evening.
Hello.
We have, let's see, the time is 6:32. Date is Wednesday, December 3rd, and I hereby call this meeting of the Nahant Board of Selectmen to order. Let's see. Opening comments. We're going to make some announcements here. We have, and Tom, we're gonna you're gonna be after these announcements. It's not gonna be more than a few minutes before we'll be there.
Yep, no problem.
Uh, we have toy drives. We have the Stuff a Cruiser event at Nahant Police Station and Toys for Tots at the Nahant Fire Station. Please drop an unwrapped gift for a child aged 5 to 13 anytime to either location. Both toy drives will be accepting donations until December 15th. The Christmas tree sales are now up and running at Lowland's parking lot. Sales will be held Thursdays and Fridays from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. and Saturdays and Sundays from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Tree sales will continue to December 20th or until trees are sold out. On Saturday, December 6th, Santa Claus will be making a special visit to the lot from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. The village church is having their annual holiday fair on Saturday, December 6th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. We have the Holiday House Tour Saturday, December 6th, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. For tickets, visit nahantgardenclub.org. December 6th is looking like a very busy day in Nahant. We have the annual tree lighting at Nahant Town Hall on December 6th, starting at 5:30. The annual Christmas Parade fundraiser on Saturday, December 13th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Tides Restaurant. And the annual Christmas Parade on Saturday, December 20th, starting at 6 p.m. from the Nahant Village Church. Last but not least, we have the annual Freezing for a Reason Polar Plunge on Thursday, January 1st, 2026, beginning at 11 a.m. at Short Beach. I will not be participating. Uh, let's see. That's a now B. Yeah. The Community Preservation Committee fiscal year 27 CPC grant applications. This year, the committee will have a two-part application process again. The first part is an eligibility application, and those are due by December 8th, 2025. If the first application is eligible and makes it through the first round, then the final application will be due on January 31st, 2026. Visit the Community Preservation Committee page at nahant.org for the application and more information. And that brings us to Mr. Casper. Once again, Tom, congratulations on your retirement. I believe Chief Furlong has a few things he wants to say.
I do. Good evening, Tom. Thanks for zooming in. Unfortunately, we're going to present you with a plaque, but it's not ready yet. It will read in part, on behalf of the Nahant Police Department and the town of Nahant, we want to thank Tom Casper and the Casper family for their unwavering support. Your years of servicing our fleet of vehicles have kept us on the road and able to service the town and its residents effectively and efficiently. The service your business, Pudgy's Towing, has provided for the town over the years will be sorely missed. We wish you the best in the next chapter of your life. Forever grateful, Timothy Furlong, Chief of Police. Without even saying that, Tom, we would just call you on a whim and you wouldn't even think about it. You just tell us to bring the cruisers over. You always prioritized us. And I believe Bob Dwyer is on this call. Might even give you a little bit of more history, but he did tell me that you guys during the blizzard of '78 helped the town out greatly. But we are very thankful for all your service for us, our department, and in the town.
Thank you very much, Tim.
Let me just jump in here as far as this has been a family thing for the Caspers going back to your dad, obviously. I can remember many a times in a summer day watching the parade of cars being towed out of Nahant by Pudgy's Towing, uh, and granting a great deal of relief to our fire and rescue services and being able to get down streets that were otherwise narrowed by all the beachgoers. And obviously, as Chief Erlang has mentioned, you've always been there as far as our mechanical equipment. Whenever available, you were right there. And on a personal scale, I can honestly say that I certainly will miss having you there. Granted, I haven't been there quite as much over the last few years because the quality of my cars has improved tremendously. I'll miss the opportunity to just walk in and get your advice on things and get things taken care of. But again, my congratulations on your retirement. It's long overdue, in my opinion.
Thank you all very much. It means a lot. I tried to do everything I could to help the town and Nahant out over the years, and I wish my father was alive to see this today. And but as we know, things happen and whatnot. So once again, thank you all. Thank you, Chief Furlong, you, Rob, Gene, Pat. I don't really know him very well. I think he's the new guy on the board there. But to all you guys, thank you very much. And I'll still be around. I'll still be at the shop. A couple of guys are still staying on board there. And, we'll take it one day at a time. And we're off to a room with Bobby and I and the girls Saturday. So, when we get back.
Is
What a
it going
great
to
start.
keep the brand name?
Say again?
Is it going to keep the brand name, Pudgy's?
No, that goes with the business. It's getting buried.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a guy that's going in there now is Patriot Depot Auto Repair. He's out of Revere. He's a pretty nice guy, and all the interactions I've had with him in the last 6-8 months, and I think he'll do a good job there. And he's keeping a couple of the guys on, Mike Kenny, that I've had for 47 years, and Bobby that's in the body shop that he's been there with me for 30 years. So I hope everything works out for all of them, and I'll be in the back looking at it anyway. So.
And by the way, having known your dad, as I did, great guy. He'd be proud of you.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I miss him a lot. And these last few years going through all emotions here, and I just wish he was here. But I know he's up there looking down. He's happy, and we're going to turn the next chapter.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll get that plaque to you, Tom, as soon as we get it in.
All right, Tim. Thank you very much. You've been great to me. You were better to me than Bobby was. I love both you guys. Rob, all my life, so I'm glad you got the helm there and keeping that town running up and strong. So.
No, I play a very small part of it. There's a whole lot of us that are working together, and I couldn't be more happy to be part of that team.
Yeah, no, I know that. No, great town, great people, and just keep moving it forward.
Indeed. Thank you, Tom.
All right, thank you all.
Congratulations. Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, we got under new business, discussion on the winter parking ban.
Hey, before you get into that, can I just make mention of something?
Sure.
I just heard that Mehdi Meristiri, his cat Milo has been found. As you know, this cat made its way from Nahant all the way to California on major networks as having been stolen along with the vehicle that it was in from a rest stop in Connecticut. Well, the state police and the FBI found the cat, found the vehicle, and announced it tonight. So we'll probably see that again on some of the major stations.
Mm-hmm.
But glad to hear that from Eddie.
Okay. Let's see. Winter parking ban discussion.
Yeah, so this is about the time of the year when the Board of Selectmen votes on implementing the annual winter parking ban, which involves no on-street parking between December 21st and March 20th, between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m. In the past, residents have been able to obtain a winter parking waiver through the police department, which would allow them to park overnight on the street. And they would, the police department had all the contact information for the residents whose vehicles would be parked on the street. So Chief Furlong had kind of brought it up that, the winter waiver application has, some administrative burden every year. And what, my thoughts and other department heads' thoughts would be on getting rid of winter waiver application program. And kind of in my mind, it would be simultaneously with winter parking ban in general. So I brought together the chief and Chief Antrim and Zach Taylor, who I thought were the prominent, individuals to discuss this. And we spoke about it several times. And there is some angst about, getting rid of a winter parking ban in terms of if the town has significant snowfall, making our narrow streets even more narrow, and not allowing, emergency vehicles to pass through easily. I think that was one of the biggest, anxiety drawing fears. So we basically came to the conclusion that we're going to take a look at some of our neighboring communities that have eliminated their winter parking ban and see how they handle that over this upcoming winter and see what kind of issues they might encounter. And we're going to revisit this again next year and start revisiting it a little bit earlier than we did this year. I don't know if any of the chiefs or if Zach want to weigh in. I know that they're all on the call.
Yeah, I'll speak on it. I noticed that some other neighboring cities and towns have eliminated their parking bans. As Allison said, it is a minor administrative burden on Mariana mainly. It doesn't generate a huge revenue for the town, so I didn't really think. My personal thought was that we probably can discontinue this at this point, but after discussing with the other department heads, we just agreed that we'll keep it status quo for now. So initially I was for just eliminating it completely, but after hearing the other concerns, I kind of changed my tune.
Yeah, I think Austin is on. Austin, did you want to add anything?
Yes, thank you, Allison. Thank you, Chief Furlong. Yeah, I did have some concerns, and Allison did let us know a few of the neighboring communities that have eliminated their parking ban. And but I think that was fairly recent. I don't think they've been through a winter with any significant snowfall yet. So I just asked if we could monitor it again this year and see how those communities do through this winter, and maybe reconsider it in the spring. I appreciate Chief Furlong's patience. I certainly don't want to add to their burden, but I do have concerns. In a few of the neighborhoods that are really tight, just one vehicle can obstruct our ability to get our apparatus into those neighborhoods. So, we all agreed to take a little more time to look at it before really making a decision. So I appreciate, the cooperation and patience. So thank you both.
Well, it's all about public safety, so obviously we'd rather err on the side of caution.
So Allison, one more time, how is this intended to work as it has in the past?
So I didn't include a motion tonight, but usually the board at this meeting every year would vote on implementing the parking ban, the overnight parking ban, to start December 21st, go through March 20th, and it eliminates on-street parking from the hours of midnight to 6 a.m. during that time frame.
Okay.
So I don't know if we want to vote on that tonight. We have another board meeting on the 17th, which is technically still before that time frame, but I do know that the chief and Mariana have some applications in for winter waivers, which they'd probably like to get processed sooner rather than later. So I don't know if you want to make a vote tonight or not.
I personally would like to move forward. Input, Patrick or Jean?
No, I think we should definitely move forward. I see the text of the, the outline of the winter parking ban in Kristen's email. I don't know what, we could definitely put together a motion tonight. I think that makes sense.
Okay, Jean, any thoughts?
No, I think we should go forward.
Okay, then I move that we initiate the winter parking ban effective December 21st and have it extend through March 20th. Through that parking ban, cars will not be allowed to park on the street between 12 a.m. and 6 a.m. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
So the only other thing I want to add is that in an emergency situation, and if there's, if we're expecting a heavy snow, then all cars must be removed from the street. That's correct, Zach, right?
At all hours.
Correct.
Do we need that in the motion, or is that already outlined in the agreement?
That's already outlined. That's
Okay.
the same practice as
That's
every
what I
year.
thought. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So we're, yeah, roll call vote.
Gene Canty, aye.
Pat O'Reilly, aye.
And Rob Thibault, aye. Motion carries. Let's see. Next is ongoing business. Allison?
Yeah, so for this, I just kind of wanted to start talking about the FY27 budget. This is about the time of year that we start taking a look at the upcoming year's, fiscal picture. I start doing some revenue and expense projections. And then I usually issue a memo to department heads to kind of give them parameters for building their FY27 budgets. I give them some time to put those budgets together, submit them, and then I'll sit down individually with department heads to discuss their needs for the upcoming year. Again, the revenue picture is bleak for FY27. We'll have obviously a 2.5% property tax increase. Local revenues, very minimal. The board had increased some small revenues such as, the alcohol licensing and the cemetery fees, but those aren't big money makers. And I'm probably going to project a 0% increase in state aid based on the information that is currently out there now and the fact that they may be implementing 9C cuts mid-year this year. So I'm not thinking that next year is going to be much greater. So I'll put a memo together. I'm going to be sending it to department heads. And then I think, there's going to be a lot of work cut out for us to kind of wade through department requests. I had one initial meeting with the school department today with the school committee chair and the superintendent, and their current budget request is large. So I want to see, I'm going to gather everything in totality and I'll be sharing it with the board and obviously with the finance committee as we kind of move through this budget process. So I just wanted to update you on that.
Okay.
That's the only thing I had for ongoing business. Was there anything else that wanted to be discussed?
I'm all set. Pat, Jean?
I'm good.
Fun, yeah. Thank
Okay. All right. Next item, preserving East Point.
The board had asked me to present a case update for the case with Northeastern University. So I think everyone's aware that the town appealed the court's decision to the Supreme Judicial Court and asked for direct appellate review. We've heard that the SJC has taken up direct appellate review and is scheduling the hearing for either February 2nd or February 4th, so which is relatively soon. The SJC also requested the submittal of amicus briefs, which are statements of support from external organizations, associations, or other municipalities. And those are due in early January. So I just wanted, to provide everybody with that kind of updated timeline that things are going to be happening quickly over the next month and a half.
From a legal
Okay.
perspective, I can tell you that's huge. The SJC has often sought to take on direct appellate review, and they don't, probably, I don't know, 80%. The fact that they're taking the time to do it is that they're going to send a message, and my guess is it's going to be in our favor, but I guess we'll find out.
Wouldn't that be great?
Dan, your thoughts as far as why they would request amicus briefs? Can you speculate on that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They want to, that's not unusual. They want to get input from more than just the parties. Typically, just the parties provide briefs, but now it's opened up to interest groups like the MMA, for example, and the environmental people. I'm sure will have some saying here too. So they expand the grasp of knowledge just to get a better idea as to what people other than the parties are having, what input they have. So it's a good sign.
Excellent. Thank you, Dan.
News, thank you.
We'll move down to the town administrator's report.
So this is the first meeting that we're having after our special town meeting a few weeks ago. So I just wanted to do a quick recap of that. I wanted to thank the planning board for all of their work over the past year and a half, along with the consultant that they had, Nels Nelson, for, taking a look at the 3A MBTA bylaw, drafting something, narrowing down locations, holding public hearings, all the work that they did to lead up to town meeting. So I wanted to recognize them for that. I wanted to thank the Board of Selectmen and the Advisory and Finance Committee for their input and review of the bylaw and their recommendation. I wanted to thank the town clerk and the moderator for running a successful special town meeting. I wanted to also thank the employees that helped set up town hall for that meeting, and the individuals that, distributed materials and for checking people into town meeting. And there's just a lot of work that goes into it. And this was my first time really being that closely involved in the setup of town meetings. So I did want to say thank you to everyone, and thanks to department heads that came to listen in. I'm thankful that, the town meeting voted to approve the bylaw. The town clerk has sent the draft of the bylaw to the Attorney General's office. The Attorney General has 90 days to approve it. In my mind right now, though, we're in compliance. And we're in compliance before that December 31st guideline. So I think that's really important for the town. If we weren't in compliance, we'd be singing a very different tune. We would have had to come up with another plan. We would have had to have another town meeting, or, have taken it up at town meeting in May. It would have required a lot more work. And then there's just, the Attorney General that was threatening to possibly sue communities if they didn't comply by December 31st. So I'm proud of the work that the town did in order to pass this.
Well, Allison, obviously we need to also mention your participation in this whole event. You have been keeping a very close watch on this issue, I think probably before Tony Barletta left. And you kept it moving, and that's what needed to happen, is that we needed somebody standing in the background and foreground to keep saying we've got to keep this moving. It's got to get done. We don't have a lot of time for this, and you did all of that, and you did it eloquently, and got great cooperation from all involved. So the selectmen, as a representative of the selectmen, we thank you for all of your efforts in this.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you,
Well,
Allison.
glad that it's done, and now we got to switch gears quickly.
And
So that's
you know
all I
what,
want to say. This was our first time getting together after a special town meeting, so.
Yeah, and also I want to thank the people of Nahant for recognizing this opportunity for what it is and getting this issue resolved.
Yeah, and I mean, the attendance at the meeting should be noted. We had great attendance. So obviously it was something that was meaningful to a lot of residents and they wanted to listen and weigh in. So that was really important.
What was the final count?
I don't know. I know Diane's on the call. Diane, can you weigh in on what the final head count was? She might be on mute and I'm putting her on the spot.
Come on, Diane, off the top of your head.
I don't think while she gets on, I think it was a voice vote. I don't believe Peter asked for.
You know what? You're right.
Yeah,
If-
we did a standing vote too, but no counts.
Yeah.
No, right,
Yeah.
but she does know how many people had checked in.
Right.
Oh, right.
I can certainly get that for you. But again, it was a voice vote because we didn't use the clickers that night.
Right. And it was strong, very strong.
I just got a text from Diane. She said it was
Uh,
265 residents attended.
Oh,
So that's a good turnout.
Not bad at all.
great turnout.
Not bad for a weekday.
Yeah, good point.
Wednesday, good old Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Good point. So Allison, I see we have Zach in attendance.
Yep. And so switching gears quickly, we had a sewer main break and the board had asked for possibly Zach to attend to just talk about that. I think everyone was aware. We put out an emergency notification on Saturday as soon as the break happened. Before Zach jumps on, I just want to say, I want to give him a lot of credit for the amount of work that went into detecting this, containing it, cleaning it up, getting Engrenice in quickly, and basically working around the clock until 3 in the morning until it was resolved. So Zach needs a huge shout out for that and his crew. So I just want to say that publicly on this, but I want him on to talk about the technical stuff.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you, Allison. So like you said, Saturday morning, November 29th, we experienced a sewer main break. Location was at Castle Road, intersection of Nahant Road. So I'll just go through a timeline and just kind of describe the challenges and things like that. And then if you have any questions when I'm done, I'll open it up. So at approximately 9:30 a.m., Chief Austin Antrim reported surface water on Castle Road at Nahant Road. At 10 a.m., DPW's crews reported intermittent flows to the surface on Castle Road. Based on these observations, it was determined to be a failure of the 18-inch sewer force main. We have those of you who don't know, we have the 18-inch force main that runs from Lowlands to Lynn. We previously lined the section from the rotary to the sewer plant. This was a section of the older line, which is the original force main. Just a note, we did actually replace a section from the plant to the end of Ward Road, Castle Road, but this was just outside of that previous repair that was done in 2012. So based on the intermittent flows, the pumps run intermittently. So based on the flows being intermittent, we knew that it wasn't a water break and it was the force main. Due to the depth and the size of the repair, emergency crews were called in from Grenice and Sons to assist with the repair, as Allison said. We called tanker trucks in from Wind River Environmental to haul waste from the Lowlands pump station to the Lynn wastewater treatment plant. Grenice crews arrived on site at approximately between 10 a.m. and 12 p.m. Wind River tanker trucks were on site about 12 p.m. The Lowlands pump station was subsequently shut down at 12 p.m. to allow for the tanker trucks to bring the waste to Lynn and open up the excavation. So Bernice broke ground around 12 p.m., 12:30 p.m. And at that point, we brought tanker trucks online and shut down the station. DPW crews were actively managing lowlands, other satellite pump stations, and the hauling operations during the Bernice work. So some of the challenges that we encountered during the work, it's of course an accelerated time frame because the quicker we get the work done, the less time you have on the tanker trucks, the less time you have with the crews. It also exacerbates situations with groundwater and tides and stuff like that. The pipe depth was 10 feet, and there were other conflicting utilities in the area. The sandy soil and a very high groundwater table in the area, as well as a high tide, led to difficult dewatering conditions. Tight working conditions, being that deep, the gravel pits aren't open, so we have to make other arrangements to get gravel into town. And just to describe the break and where it was, we noticed that there was an electrical conduit above where the break occurred, which is similar to the breaks that we witnessed on the Linway. This likely added to the corrosion in the immediate area. There was also a mechanical joint in the area or at the location of the break, which could have been dissimilar metals, which would have added to the corrosion at that point. The remaining pipe around the break area looked like it was in pretty good condition, which is a positive. So we removed the 6-foot section of pipe and installed the new 6-foot section of pipe in the location of the break. The excavation was backfilled and compacted. Lowland sewer station was powered back up at around 2 a.m. And we made observations at the excavation. We didn't notice any changes. So the roadway was backfilled. We were able to leave that section closed for the weekend, and we were able to repave and restore the road on Monday. Some of the things that went into it immediately following the event, because it was a sewer break, being on the Linway, not a lot of residents noticed what was happening. But Mass DEP, Board of Health, EPA, town manager were all notified within 2 hours. Subsequent observations were made downstream of any catch basins, manholes, and streams for any impacts. None were noted. We spoke with DEP about any future impact, and they said that likely due to the large volume of groundwater or clean groundwater that we pumped down into the stream location where the wastewater was discharged, as well as the cold weather, limited or eliminated any chances of exposure to any bacteria. And then in the future, Alice and I talked about this, we're possibly going to prioritize the vintage section of pipe that runs from that section where the break occurred to the rotary. And likely do a similar aligning restoration of that line, just due to the cost implications with each break. Similar to the Linway, the cost of the breaks are going to end up being just too costly to not do anything. So, and that's it. We're just continuing to monitor the pump station for any abnormal flows or anything like that, and about it.
That's outstanding, Zach. Really, you guys jumped right to it, and it sounds everything that you've described and everything that I saw when walking my walks down there, very well managed, very well managed, and no interruption in service to the townspeople. I think that's great, and whoever scheduled the break, I'm glad that they waited until after Thanksgiving Day. Uh, it's nice to get through the holiday without having to deal with something like this. So again, I know you were on station as well as others early on in the event, and you were there throughout the event. So we do appreciate your service and watchful eye as far as keeping our townspeople in a position to go on with their lives pretty much uninterrupted.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
A big thank you to all the employees who participated in this. It's tough to have to do that, especially up till 3 o'clock in the morning in the cold.
Yeah, it definitely takes a team. There's a lot of logistics that go into it, and like Rob said, the ultimate goal is to have uninterrupted sewer services. So I think we accomplished that.
Yeah.
Great job, Jack.
All right. Thank you so much.
Zach.
Allison, back to you.
All right, so the last thing I was going to talk about was just the Code Red system update. So we did believe we did a website post and a social media post. So Code Red is the emergency notification that we use along with a number of other communities in Massachusetts. It's the one that we, issue phone calls on, whether they be for emergency purposes, or we also do it as like a notification system. If we had a big town meeting coming up, you would receive a phone call if you were signed up for this service. So the whole system went down because there was a big cyber attack against it. And Onsolve, the company that does the Code Red system, decided to abandon the whole system and basically implemented a new platform. And so they migrated all of their communities over to this new platform that we just got a login for the other day. So the chief, Mariana, Kristen, and I are all poking around in this new system, trying to figure out how it works, how to issue messages through it. Mariana did release a test message the other day that some people got. Some people may have blocked it because it looked like it was coming from a Seattle phone number. So if you saw something on your phone that, looks like that, don't block that number because that's what it's going to be coming from. But the message wasn't very clear. There are a bunch of options for press 1 for English, press 2 for Spanish, which I'm not sure we have to have all those language options at the beginning. So there's still a lot that we need to figure out in using it for our emergency messaging notification. We need to get a user guide from Onsolve. And we're also not sure the resident information that got transferred over. They had to take it from an old backup. So we're not entirely sure of how up to date that information is. What we're probably going to do after we poke around a little bit more, I'm probably going to encourage residents to re-sign up for the system once we have a link to what that is. So I just wanted to make everybody aware of that, currently there is a new platform that we have. We're not entirely sure how to use it yet, but we're figuring it out. We will be sending additional test messages, but when we do, we're going to inform the town, through a website and social media posts. So that is not out of the blue. And see where it goes from there. There was concern, when this was taken down, it happened. I noticed it right before special town meeting because I wanted to issue a message to residents to encourage them to come to special town meeting. And it wasn't working. So that's how I found out about it. The concern was if there was a true emergency, was the town not able to issue any type of emergency notification? And I confirmed with Chief Furlong that we would have still had the ability through MEMA to contact residents about an emergency. So that's still, we still have that ability now. In the meantime, while we're figuring out the new local system. So I didn't know if anybody had additional questions about that.
I'm all set. Gene and Patrick?
Good here.
That's good. Yeah, we'll hopefully So we'll plan to send an update in the next couple weeks on that.
Yes. Yep,
Circle back. Great.
that's the plan.
Okay,
Um,
anything else, Allison?
That was the last thing that I had.
Okay, all right. That'll bring us to citizens' comment. Anyone have a question or a thought that they'd like to share?
Hey, Rob, I can share a thought. I can modify my numbers. I just texted one of the partners who was actually clerking for the SJC. I was wrong. The percentage of actually accepting a direct appellate review was 5%. So you can see how remarkable it is to get their attention.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. So that's obviously something that they want to make sure is done right. It has such an impact throughout the state. Doesn't look like we have any comments that will
No,
be.
there is. It looks like
Brendan.
Brendan has his hand raised.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I'm sorry. Brendan, you want to come
Homestead to
join
Summer
us?
Street. Two questions. One about the winter parking ban. When you're doing that a review of what the other communities have in place. I don't know if it's possible using the town's GIS to kind of quantify the width of our streets so that you can kind of bucket it, saying like we've got, streets that are, X number of 10-foot wide, 12-foot wide, 14-foot wide streets. So when you look at other communities that, do they have the same street widths as ours so that when that type of analysis is done, you're at least an apples to apples comparison?
Mhm. So can I respond to that, Brendan? Just to
Yep.
your point, one of the communities that we found out got rid of their parking ban is Marblehead, which I do think is very relevant. Like they're in Old Town, Marblehead, their streets are very narrow, similar to some of ours. So I agree, we can do a lot, some more analysis on, what our street widths are, but I think that is a good comparison.
And then my second question had to deal with follow-up about the sewer break. I was wondering if it's possible to use the town's GIS layers of the utilities to identify any other spots where there might be electrical lines crossing the sewer lines, similar conditions as what you saw on the break, just so that way you could flag these potential areas. Maybe it's worth digging them up to verify that there's no corrosive issues going on.
Yeah, Brendan, that's a good point. I did look at that, and the next major electrical conduit is at Little Nahant Road, bringing electrical from Nahant Road up into Little Nahant Road. So that's definitely something I've spoken with the engineer about. It's a good point.
All right, great. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
That's it? Okay. Then I will move that the Board of Selectmen vote to adjourn to executive session pursuant to Mass General Laws, Chapter 38, subsection 21A2, to conduct strategy sessions in preparation for contract negotiations with the new town administrator. If the chair declares that an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body, and I, the chair, do declare that an open meeting will have a detrimental effect on the negotiating position of the public body, and we will not return to open session. Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call vote.
Gene Canty, aye.
Pat O'Reilly, aye.
And Rob Tibbo, aye. We are unanimous, and we will be moving to executive session. Thank you all who attended our meeting, and good night.
Waiting for people to get off. Okay. So now I have to turn this over to Dan. Oh, actually, I have to stop recording.